You're gonna let me buy a whole new interior for this truck? Well, if you want me to throw this interior out, that means I get to buy a whole new one. That was what? You thought that was the plan? Yes, that was the plan. Yes, I was planning on buying an entire new interior for this truck. What's going on, guys? I'm Elliot. This is Everything Elliot. And behind me is my 97 Powerstroke, which I haven't done a video on in a little while. Mostly because I've been taking up time doing the shop edition, which is all done. Behind me, super nice. If you haven't checked those videos out, make sure you do. The last one's pretty cool. Bunch of time lapse of the guys putting it up. But anywho, today we're going to be working on the 97, and it's my goal to get the interior out of this thing. Now, the reason I want to get the interior out of it is a couple reasons. The windshield is leaking, and I'm guessing by the brown carpet, this is a little wet right here, you can tell, there's probably going to be some rust underneath here, and I want to get that taken care of. And over here on the cab corner, you'll see there's a little bit of rust there that I want to poke and prod at. So we'll get all this stuff taken off and see how bad it really is. Now, I've done a little bit of research on this, not a ton, but it seems like once you get the seats out, the carpet just comes up, which would be super handy because I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never done this before in one of these 97 OBS Fords, but I don't think it'll be too tough. I'm gonna get some tools out, just should be your basic sockets and Phillips heads and what have you. I'm gonna get all that out, and you guys know how to take bolts out, so probably gonna skip taking the bolts out. I'll just let you know what size they are in the next clip. All right, so here's your update. I got this seat ready to come out, and what it is it's 4 bolts. There's one up front. Actually, it's 2 bolts, 2 nuts. So there's one up front up here that I showed you earlier, and then you have to move the seat all the way forward. Grab this little handle here. It's hard to do it one-handed. That handle. Oh, and here's my socket. And then there's 2 nuts on each side. Well, one on each side back here. And I thought it was kind of strange, but the nuts and bolts are 15 millimeter. And also I'd mentioned the seat belts need to come out. Those are T50. I think everything's disconnected now, and I should be able to struggle this thing out of the truck. So we'll give that a try and see what happens. Okay. Over the bolts. Done something. It's just nice and easy. Okay. Ooh, automatic door closers. So just to give you an idea what I was talking about, that's the one nut right there. This goes in there, and that's pretty ugly. This is your seat belt. There's that T50. That goes right here. And on the back on this post is where this nut goes. So that screws onto there like that. A couple electrical connections just right here that you need to hook up, or unhook I should say. So I think the next step is to probably try to get these out. And you see this is a little wet. I actually sprayed some WD-40 in here in hopes that it loosened up a little bit. I think they're Phillips head, and I think they're really rusty. Let's see if it feels like it's Phillips head. Oh, it just feels like it's rust. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I'll take that. 1. Oh, number 2? Nice and easy. Just rusty crusty. And the screwdriver isn't even grabbing anything. Drat. Hi. So I'll be back with you guys when I figure out what I got to do to get it out, and then I'll let you know. Well, I still haven't gotten that 4x4 selector boot off, but I have gotten the door trim piece off here and pulled the rug a little bit. Pulled this kick panel off here. That's just a couple of those little retainer clips. So we're going to do it together and really see how bad it is under here. Oh. Well, that was... Oh, man. Well, that is much better than I had expected. So it looks like somebody was in here, a previous owner, because there's all this bubble wrap. Oh man, this, ooh, if you could smell what I'm smelling, it smells like mold. All right, what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna take that kick panel off on the other side over there, take that door trim piece off, and try to get this carpet completely out of here. I'll just cut around that boot for now. I'm putting a new carpet in here anyway. This thing is so roached. There's gonna be no cleaning it. There was a screw here holding the carpet in. There was another panel popper in the center, and then the screw over there. And now this carpet should come out of here with two out without too much of a fuss. I was able to slide the carpet right over that 4x4 boot. Put this up over. Oh. Somebody was definitely in here. Oh my God. It smells so bad. It's so heavy because it's so wet. Oh my God. This piece I got right here probably weighs 20 pounds. I mean, it is soaking wet. I don't know if this is like old school sound deadening material, like Dynamat, but somebody did it at some point. All right, got all the mat out. Basically used a heat gun to loosen it up and that there scraper to get it out. And the little bit of rust I have isn't terrible. I'm gonna hit that with a wire wheel and see what happens to it. However, I have discovered a new issue, which I thought this water was originally coming from the windshield, but if you look closely, oh, it might be tough to see. Let's see if I can get you a better angle here. Look at all that water coming down the firewall, which I'm guessing is not good. I talked to my buddy who's got a Bronco. He had the same issue and he said that is not good news. So shout out to Todd for telling me that, ruining my day. Thanks, Todd. And this side is just as bad. Let me see here. Look at all the water. Yeah. All right, well, I found my leak. Let me give you an idea of what's going on here. I got the light set up there in the brake pedal area. So right there, there's not supposed to be light coming through there. It might be tough to tell, but yeah, that right there, that's no good. That's got to get fixed. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a wire brush because I can get my hand in there. I'll use a wire brush, clean that all up. I'm gonna vacuum it up, and then what I'll do is I've got that PR15, and I'm just gonna paint it. So last night I finished up the PR15, and this is what it looks like in there. It is dry to the touch. Well, I should say you should probably wear gloves when putting this stuff on. Did everything in that whole drip edge there, and I got my light set up so I can see the holes down in that valley there. You can see the light shining through. That's no good. I've got this JB Weld steel stick. I'm gonna give this a try. Basically, I'm just gonna peel a little bit off and shove it down in there. Probably should have gloves on. Looks pretty uniform in color. Guess we'll start mashing it in there. So what I'm attempting to do is actually push it through the hole as well as around the edges of the hole. That way it actually creates a bond with the metal. Keep in mind I still have the light on in the floor down there. And now there's no light coming through there, which is a good thing. So the next step I want to do is I'm actually going to take the light out, put the light up here, and then go under the dash and just double check that there's no light coming down. All right, so on the passenger side, I had mentioned earlier that I had a hole here. I got to poking and prodding, and it was too much to weld, so I ended up cutting this out straight down here. And I'm going to put some patches in here. What the patches are going to look like is just going to be one long strip with a little curve in it, and it goes to about here, and then just another piece that goes straight down like this and mates up with everything. So I'm going to get some cardboard cutouts going, and then head over to my buddy's metal shop. Got my first piece here. That's going to go right in there, like so. Then I've got another piece here. This is going to slide inside here, like that. And then my third piece here, I know it's cardboard, so it's straight, but this is the width and length that I need. And what I've done, I've taken this piece of cardboard and just, well, I did it this way, but I traced this curve here, which should match. That way when I'm at the sheet metal shop, I can bend this piece to a close curve. All right, so I got the first piece kind of in there, and I'm going to tack it in. Please keep in mind that I am not a professional welder, so this might not be pretty, but it is under the rug, so I'm not super concerned about it. Now we got to get this second piece in here. Like I said, I'm not a professional welder. Some guy in a body shop, though, is probably like, what the heck is this kid doing? Something like that right there. Shoo, that is ugly. Fire. Well, I guess next step is to hit this with a flap disc and see how bad it really looks. Because it looks terrible, but it's patched, I guess. All right, well, it's done. It's not the prettiest work I've done, but I'm doing body panels with 0.35 wire, which is not ideal. And also, bad news, I was over here poking around and found a soft spot. I'm like, let's see how far it goes. Well, it went all the way up to here. So I cut that out, and thankfully I got a bunch of scrap. I can just piece a new piece in there. But right now I got my buddy Timmy coming over. He's gonna help me torch this seatbelt bottom bolt off. I have torches. I'm not very good with them. I'm good enough to cut and stuff like that, you know, roughly. But Tim used to work in a metal foundry. He's super good with torches, and I don't want to burn my truck down, and it's super close to the cab. I worked on this the past 2 days. I think I've gotten quite a bit done. And then once this rocker panel comes, I'll really be able to button this interior up, because once I'm done with that rocker panel, I'm pretty much done in here.
Keep spraying.
Ow, so hot.
Yep. Ow, ow, ow. Break. I got a lot of it out.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Ain't done yet though.
Okay. I probably have about 15 holes in my shirt now. At least you're up on a creeper.
Yeah.
It's all falling on the ground and hitting me.
But we got to take a station break here because I'm burnt.
All right, Timmy was successful. I needed to be a fireman, so I was not filming, but there she is. She's out. Hole is still there.
Nice and round still. You can still work with it.
So that was going to stop me from doing the rocker, but it's done now. Thanks, Timmy. Thanks, Timmy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video on interior number 1. Interior number 2 is probably going to be the rocker panel and me struggling to get that in there. But thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next ones.